episode of My Favourite Movies Reviewed. Today I'll be talking about Creepshow 2, one of three in the Creepshow movie franchise. It also came into a series a few years ago, which was helped along by one of the writers from The Walking Dead. And what is essentially is, if you've seen the movie a few years ago, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, whereas there's loads of little stories within the film. It's kind of like that, except in this one there's three main stories. There's Chief Woodenhead, which is up here. You have The Raft, and there's a picture from that film here. And you also have the story The Hitchhiker, which is here. And what it is, as the film starts, you see this ghoul or creep, who's played by a master mask maker, Tom Savini, who made the band Slipknot, one of their masks, and he makes monster masks, creature features, things like that. He's in it, and he's playing this ghoul who's dropping off this big pack of comics at the store, where there is a small lad waiting who absolutely loves the scary stories. And then as that unfolds, when they open the packet, we are essentially watching these stories out of the comic book that are in that issue at the time. And for the 80s, very good. Especially the special effects that they had to try and use at the time. It's like, scary stories and Goosebumps. If only R.L. Stine was involved in it, I think it could have been absolutely awesome. Even more, as I'm a big Goosebumps fan, and of the movies recently as well. But overall, anyway, as you go along, there are three stories. They're all completely separate from each other. There's no link. The only connection with them is the small boy on his journey from buying the comic to doing something else, to then at the end, where the bullies that are chasing him throughout the little gaps in between each of the three stories and unfortunately come to a gruesome end. So if that's something that you'd be very interested in, go check out the first one first, Creepshow. There's about 4 or 5 or 6 stories in that one. This one's only 3, unfortunately, which is a bit lets it down, but I think it makes up for the story. I mean, for scary movies, especially in the 80s, when you had Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, all of those big slasher films and franchises were booming in the 80s. So this one does stand out on its own. It's a little bit different, not like your typical scary films, and you get to enjoy all these random creatures and monsters and things like that. Always makes it very enjoyable to watch, and I certainly enjoyed it since the film came out before I was even 4 years. There we go, 4 years before I was even born. Very much enjoyed it, so I recommend it to you now. Go watch them. Right, guys, that is it for this impromptu episode. Apologies, it wasn't that long, but it was just one that had just a movie I wanted to really let you know about, and if you haven't watched it, I hope you'll go see it. It's very good, and I'll see you next time. I'm hoping to put up a vlog episode at some point soon, when I've got 1 or 2 things sorted. It's regarding my Asperger's, my autism, and all that crap brain stuff, unfortunately. So I hope you'll tune in for that, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye, guys. Take care.